Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing a shipping cookies video, and in this video I'm going to show you how I wrap my cookies individually and then all together to ship them. I'm also going to show you the type of box that I use. I'm going to share the items that I use to ship cookies, so like the bags that I use for individual wrapping, where I buy my wrapping paper. The last time that we did a video like this was in 2018. So I just figured that we would make an updated version of this video. I'm going to link all the materials that we used in the description box below, and they will also be in my Amazon storefront. So let's get started. So when I went to go ship these cookies, I didn't order my supplies directly from the USPS website. And basically, what happens is that if you go to your local post office, they have the basic boxes to ship items in. So they'll have this box that you see on the screen, which is the priority flat rate medium box. And this one measures 6 inches in height and then 11 1/4 by 8 3/4. And you're going to see exactly what I mean in the first clip of the video. But the box that I actually needed was this 8 1/2 box, which is 8 1/2 in height, and then 12 inches by 12 1/4 inch. And basically, if you want specific boxes for shipping that are still the same rate as the ones that they have at the store, but they're a little bit bigger, you have to order them from their website. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'll explain in depth in the next clip. So here what I was trying to do is, as you can see, I went ahead and folded this white bakery box, and this box actually measures 10 by 10. And it's just a standard bakery box to put cookies or desserts or pastries in. And what I used to do when I lived in Pittsburgh is I used to form one of these boxes and then place all of my saran wrapped and bubble wrapped cookies inside of this box to then place inside the shipping box, if that makes sense, just to add an extra layer of protection. But in order to do that, you have to make sure to have that second box that you ordered directly from the USPS website, which is I believe, measures 12 by 12 and 12 1/4. Or no, it's 8 1/2 by 12 and 12 1/4. And you can always reference back to that. But because, as you can see here, I was actually having trouble placing it into the flat rate box, and it ended up not working out. So I had to kind of make do with what I had, which was just the box that is basic from the USPS store or the USPS office, whatever you want to call it. So I ended up just placing my cookies directly inside the USPS box, and I ditched my original idea. But ideally, what you need is that second box that measures, let me give you the exact measurements because I don't want to give you the wrong information. So if you want to place that extra layer of protection with the other box in there, you have to choose the priority mail medium box. I usually get the pack of 10, and it measures 8 1/2 in height and then 12 1/4 in length and 12 inches wide. And the SKU number is 0 underscore, or it's O underscore box 7X. And usually you would order these directly from the website. And I'll go ahead and leave all this information in the description box below, but that's what I was originally trying to do. So once I kind of like made up my mind and said, you know what, this is what we're going with, I went ahead and formed the medium flat rate box that I got at the USPS office. And then what I did, what you want to do is you want to make sure to add resistant tape at the bottom. And basically when you close all the sides, do not use cheap tape because these boxes get thrown around. So if, for example, let's say you use like really cheap tape or just a tiny piece of tape and they throw the box, it's going to fly open. So make sure to tape up your box really well before you start putting your cookies in there. And basically what I did is I went ahead and individually packaged all of my cookies using self-sealing bags. I used to have, I think I still have it, a sealer which is, I used to buy basically like a big bag, like a big plastic bag, and then just place all my cookies in there and just go like 2 by 2 or 1 by 1 and seal them. And the sealer cuts off and kind of like makes a little pouch. But I just kind of like find it easier now that I don't have orders, I don't bake for people anymore, and I don't sell my cookies, so I find it easier to just buy self-sealing cookies. And that's what I did. Then, since this was my first try or my first trial on kind of like using the bubble wrap again after so long, I went ahead and did, I believe, 6 cookies, top and bottom, which is what it looked like when I showed you. But then I figured it was a little bit easier and it would probably be better if I did them a little bit more, like basically like in smaller packets or in smaller packages of bubble wrap, because I am going to have to fill in a few gaps and I'm going to have to arrange them a little bit differently than I would if I had the bigger box. So I went ahead and decided to do that, and I'm basically just going to wrap 2 cookies at a time using this bubble wrap, making sure to add some tape just to kind of like make sure they're all secure. I was going to go ahead and use packing peanuts and just put my cookies in there basically, but I decided to kind of like line this up a little bit with some bubble wrap, and that's what you see me doing here. I also recommend using packing peanuts if you're able to order some. I just didn't get any because the bag is huge. When you order packing peanuts, especially from a like an office supply store or Amazon or Walmart, wherever you get them, it's a huge bag. So you would literally have to be making orders every single day and every single week and shipping them out, or basically have like a shipping business for you to finish the entire bag. It's huge. So I wasn't able to get my hands on that, but this is what we're working with. I started to line up my cookies, and before I finalized the way that I wanted to line them up, basically, you kind of like do a trial run. So you put them in, take them out, you put them in, and then take them out again and see how they fit best. It is better to have them fit more snug than it is to have anything loose in there. The more loose your items are in the box, the more likely they are to break. So you kind of like have to do a trial before you commit to the space where you're putting the cookie. And that's why I decided to make the smaller packets also, so that I would be able to do this and just kind of like fit all the cookies in there. Once you have committed to the space that your cookies are going to be in when you seal this box, is when you start sealing the top of your bubble wrap. So here, basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that these are snug and tight in there with the bubble wrap, and I'm going to take some tape and just tape it down really well. Now, the next part that I'm going to say is very important. So even like, let's say that we use the bigger box that I mentioned in the beginning with the bakery box inside. Any time that you are packing anything, regardless of whether it's socks, if it's shoes, if it's cookies, if you're shipping a cake, whatever it is that you're shipping, you need to make sure that if there's any space in your box, that it is filled in with either packing peanuts. You can use that Easter grass. I don't know if it's called Easter grass, but that Easter grass to fill in any gaps. You can use newspaper. You can use tissue paper. Anything that is bouncy, that takes up volume, that is fluffy, needs to take up the space that is extra. So as you can see here, I had a lot of extra space, about 2 or 3 inches of space at the top of my box. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically adding more bubble wrap to just kind of take up some space. You could also use any of the other things that I mentioned. And before you seal your box one final time, you're going to want to do what I just did there, which is basically shake your box. Do like a shake test. If you feel that there are still things moving around in there, if you can hear them moving around in there, continue to pack it tightly especially in those corners and in those holes like I showed you, because this box is going to travel a long way. People are going to throw it. People don't know what is in there and they don't care. So they're going to throw it around. By the time your box arrives to its destination, the box may look ugly, but the goal of what we're doing here is to ensure that the cookies arrive in one piece. So I'm continuing to pack this all the way to the top. It's better to have more than less. And you do a final shake test, make sure everything is good. And this is where you seal your box with a card or a thank you note, whatever you're going to do. And then you add your final piece of tape. So a lot of you are probably going to ask about shipping. When you use these boxes, they do have a weight limit. I believe for the medium box is 25 pounds. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen. But usually this medium box goes for about $18. If you print the label yourself on the actual USPS website, you get a discount. So I actually paid $16 for it. So it just kind of depends on your accessibility to printing. Or if you're doing this to sell to the public, you probably already have a system in place where you can print this at home. But if you were to go to the counter, this will cost you $18 in Texas. I'm not sure if it varies by state, but I do know that from the last time that we did this, in 2018, a box like this cost you $12 and it is now $18. These cookies did travel all the way to New York. They survived. They made it all in one piece. None of them broke. So I will post some pictures of them here on the screen. And like I said, if you're doing this as a business and you're doing this every day, you're going to get more practice and you're going to find your ways of shipping them. But I highly recommend doing what I mentioned in the beginning. So ordering your boxes from the USPS website, the 8.5 by 12 and 12.25, so that you are able to present your cookies in a better way by adding a bakery box inside the USPS box, so that your customer doesn't open their USPS box and there's just cookies everywhere. Because yes, our goal is for them to arrive in one piece, but your goal is also to have returning customers, and people like to open pretty packages. So I highly recommend, if you're doing this as a business, to include a bakery box within that box. Usually most people that ship cookies use 10 by 10 boxes, and I will also have those linked in my description box below. I hope this was helpful in some way. I will also link the old video from 2018 here. I believe I actually have two videos. So I'll go ahead and link those so you can reference back to them. I'll also have all the websites that I mentioned here in the description box below. Don't forget to share this video with a friend. Leave me a comment with your questions. Follow me on all my social media. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.